For those of you who have children, and if you don't have children, imagine you did, like in the video that Brianna showed with the little baby, just imagine that connection you would have with that cute little baby. And they were a victim of sexual, physical, or mental abuse. The experience is painful to handle, just comforting your child, and you want to know how to report the incident, and you want to make sure that you do it the right way. Advocates make sure you cover every ground, helping you make the right decisions for you and your child. So with an advocate, you're not alone. Becoming a REACH crisis advocate, you can promote, represent, and address the interests of survivors of interpersonal violence. With becoming a REACH volunteer, number one, the REACH Center provides referrals, education, and crisis intervention and counseling and hotline services. Number two, the volunteer crisis advocate helps improve the lives of their clients by giving them the most effective tools for coping. Number three, you can help not only others, but you can help yourself. And number four, if you all join together to help victims of crime and abuse, we can slow the cycle. So, number one, the REACH Center provides referrals, education, and crisis intervention. Services are available 24 hours a day, and many volunteers for the REACH Center have primary jobs, so you can work from home. The advocacy creates immense opportunities, including validation of the feelings of others, and giving them the tools to make good decisions. Number two, a volunteer crisis advocate helps improve the lives of their clients by giving them the most effective tools for coping. So, Amanda Thomas, who is involved with the REACH Center, she's actually the manager for the crisis intervention. She specifically tells you that advocates do not make decisions for their clients. Simple ways of help for recovery include artistic expression, assertiveness training, breath control, covert modeling, deep muscle relaxation, and guided self-dialogue, including journaling, poetry, and rational thinking. The volunteers staff the agency's 24-hour hotline on weekends, nights, and holidays. And there's an extremely educational training that's required. It's a 30-hour intensive training course covering the topics, so that way when you cover the 24-hour hotline, you know the tools to help your the victims, and it includes topics such as crisis intervention, counseling skills, hotline procedures, medical and legal advocacy, and role playing, and working with various populations, including children. These services are crucial to many different scenarios that can happen to any one of us. So including the 24-hour hotline, you can accompany somebody to the hospital or to the police station or to court in case they need help with any of that. And there's information regarding like medical, legal, emotional aspects of crime and abuse, ways to assist a survivor, and prevention information. And they also help with crime victim compensation. So that's kind of if, say you were, sexually assaulted and you go to the hospital and your pants were torn or something happened where they had to take your undergarments, you can fill out an application and the advocate helps you with that, and you get either the money back to buy your new things. You help others as well as yourself. Ways of doing this is you feel fortunate, optimistic, and you meet people from many different walks of life. You have the tools to help someone through a horrible experience, because according to Global Cloud, which is, they did a journal of, in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence, they did an article on outcomes of, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. Global Cloud tells you that suicide takes the lives of nearly 30,000 Americans every year, and without this they might not be able to overcome and cope otherwise. You feel optimistic, you discover many different and unique ways of helping others, and you can apply these techniques to your own life. And just having a larger outlook on the world, it opens you up more, and the more open you are, the more knowledge you can intake. And number 4, if we join together to help victims of crime and abuse, we can slow the cycle. Now, there was an article done in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence by Dana Smith and Marlene Reese-Weber. And in this article, they were researching the association between the history of child sexual abuse and specific negative outcomes such as attachment, feelings of power, and self-esteem. And it's explored as a relationship between the negative outcomes and sexual victimization. The results indicated that participants in the CSA group did not differ on reported attachment anxiety, attachment avoidance, feelings of power, or self-esteem as compared to the control group. However, the participants of child sexual abuse group were more likely to be sexually victimized. So becoming an advocate kind of helps with this, because whether it's child abuse or the sexual victimization, the advocates are there to help these people and validate their feelings of what they're going through, and helps normalize a little bit so they don't think that there's something wrong with them. There's also a website, it's afsap.org, and it's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And there's a lot of useful tips on there, and it gives you, insight on what an advocate can help with. What is your greatest accomplishment? Can you take some of this information that I gave you today and use it towards any accomplishment in your life? You work from home, you don't have to go out of your way really. When you're on the 24-hour hotline, you can just work from your home, and you don't have to worry about really going out of your way, and then you get that feeling of accomplishment. So by becoming a REACH crisis advocate, you can promote, represent, and address interests of survivors in interpersonal violence, because the REACH Center provides referrals, education, advocacy, and crisis intervention. You help improve the lives of clients by giving them the most effective tools for coping. Not only do you help others, you help yourself, and by joining together to help the victims of crime and abuse, you can help slow the cycle. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.